gentlemen, Stephen here from the Redolessence channel, and I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. And here I have my good friend David joining me once more.
Hello, how's everyone?
So you probably saw David when we did an inside look on the House of Amouage. In case you missed that video, I will be leaving links down below, so definitely make sure to check that one out. And today we have an interesting topic. These are 3 citrus-based fragrances, all of which contain bergamot.
Correct.
And they seem to fly under the radar. And
Yes.
what I mean about that is that it seems like they don't get talked as much in the community.
Right. There are 3 artisanal fragrances, so they're not mass-produced, obviously. They're not sold in the department stores. They're very low production. And I was fortunate enough to discover them. I think we should make clear to everyone out there that these 3 fragrances are from my personal collection. They were not given to me by the manufacturer. They were purchased with my own money, and they are actually 3 fragrances that I use. So I thought, since the warm weather has finally reached us and we're entering summer, that it might be good to talk a little bit about citrus. And for us who love fragrance, citrus equals bergamot.
Yeah,
that is
for
the
sure.
quintessential note. The quintessential citrus note is bergamot. And for those of you who don't know what bergamot is, it's a green fruit, green like a lime, but it's actually related to the orange. So it's a lime-colored orange. And it's extremely fragrant, as I'm sure all of you out there know. For those of you who like tea and you drink Earl Grey has essence of bergamot in it.
It does. That's right.
To give it that extra zing. Anyway.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I personally do love citrus-based scents as well. Whether we're talking about orange or bergamot, yuzu, lemon, lime, grapefruit, neroli, there's a ton. Petitgrain being another one as well. And you brought these over and you were talking to me a little bit about them behind the camera.
Yes.
And there are a couple that I love. And there's one that I really didn't think I was going to like because I'm not a huge fan of juniper berry.
Right.
I find it to have a bit of an astringent smell.
Right.
But this one, the way that it's counterparted with the citrus just really opens it up. It makes it so
I'm glad
accessible.
you liked it.
So should we talk about that one first, perhaps?
Let's talk about that one first. So I'll hold it up for you to see. This one is Gin and Tonic, the aftershave splash made by the Sterling Soap Company. The Sterling Soap Company is based in Bonneville, Arkansas. It is a family-run enterprise. They specialize in making shaving soaps. As you may notice, I am clean-shaven, unlike my friend here. I shave every single day, and I use the wet shaving method. For those of you who don't know, I take a brush, which is made of badger hair, and I whip up lather, and I put it on my face, and when I finish, I splash on something like this. What is distinctive about the products made by Sterling Soap Company is that there are no harmful chemicals involved. So what you have here, if you read the label, alcohol, witch hazel, essential oil, that's very important, aloe, glycerin, and hydrovance. Hydrovance is a preservative. Now, essential oil. You've talked to our friends out there. There are fragrance oils. There are chemicals which mimic certain smells.
Sure.
And then there are essential oils. On the continuum, you start with chemicals, you move up to fragrance, you finish with essential oils. Essential oils are basically the gold standard in perfumery. If you can use essential oils, you use them.
Yeah.
This uses no fragrance. This uses no perfume. This uses no chemical. This is essential oil. Juniper, which is a little fruit that grows on trees that look like pines. Lemon or lime, they're related. right? And quinine, which is the other additive in tonic water, which gives it that twang. This, look, I use this. I'm not going to lie to you. If I could drink this, I would. I mean, this...
It smells pretty good.
I mean, that's how
yeah.
good it smells. It doesn't come with an atomizer. You splash it on because you need a lot after you shave. It gives your skin a nice smooth feel. But we're talking now not about the feel, because I know a lot of you may not shave.
Yeah.
This fragrance is fresh. It's real.
Yeah.
It's like you're smelling a homemade gin and tonic. That's why it's called
pretty accurate.
Gin and tonic. The juniper berry actually mellows out the lemon or lime. What's the problem with lemon and lime? They are both extremely volatile, which, as I'm sure we've talked about before, means that the scent itself deteriorates with time. That's a problem with bergamot, lemon, lime, orange, neroli, and petit grain, or petit grain in French. That's the problem. They deteriorate after time. They're volatile. The most volatile is probably orange or grapefruit, and then, of course, lemon and lime.
Yeah.
The juniper mellows this out. I recently acquired this. We're not talking about a high-ticket item. This is for 100 milliliters, which is 3.4 ounces. And I think this sold for $12.95.
Oh, wow.
I may be wrong, but you can get it online. You can also get it, there are a few online vendors that sell it, but this is not high, this is not a high ticket. And I'm telling you, let's do a strip. We put it on before, but let's do it again. While I'm pouring this out onto the strip, you'll notice that it looks like oil. That's because there is a high concentration of essential oil in here. Oh my goodness.
It smells so crisp. It's full. It has that woodsy component on account of the juniper.
This is how you put it on. See, after you shave, which I did before I came here, you put it on just like that. Oh my goodness.
Now, quick question for you, David.
I smell like a bar now, don't I?
Okay. Not quite. Okay. So this one, unlike most commercial aftershaves, does not contain menthol.
That's correct. Thank goodness. I'm glad you mentioned that. We were talking about that before we went on air.
You smell really good, by the way.
Thank you very much. There is something to be said about using menthol as a complement to other volatile ingredients. I don't know why certain perfumers think that by adding menthol, you're going to be improving upon the volatile ingredients like lemon, lime, bergamot. In my experience, and I've been shaving for a long time, and I can tell you that menthol doesn't improve or add to a scent. It hides it. It destroys it. It breaks it down. Why do they insist on putting it in? Because it gives your skin a nice, cool feeling. Shaving irritates your skin naturally because you have a piece of metal that's grazing across your skin. So, of course, it's going to be irritated.
So.
And they think that by putting something cooling on it, and menthol, is definitely an anti-inflammatory and anti-irritant. It'll make your skin feel very nice. The problem is that whatever else you put with it is going to be masked.
And compromised.
You don't make things better by throwing menthol, Okay, you can take a perfectly beautiful scent like this and ruin it by putting menthol in it. But there are some people out there who insist on having menthol in their aftershaves. I say go with this. Now, Sterling does make certain aftershaves. Margarita on the Rocks, Arctic, that's what it's called, which smells exactly like a margarita, but it has menthol in it. You don't need it. I mean, this is good enough. Believe me, if you're looking for something different and you want to be noticed, you will be noticed riding the subway 9 o'clock in the morning with this.
Yeah, and it's pretty potent too.
It's very potent. He's sitting next to me. You just gotta look.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
all things considered.
He looks like he wants to have a drink right now. So.
Now I'm curious to see what the margarita one smells like.
Yeah.
I was thinking menthol might actually work in a mojito inspired aftershave.
Absolutely, it would work because one of the ingredients in a mojito is mint.
Yeah.
So it actually adds to it, but juniper berries are a very subtle, woodsy smell. You have the lime and you have the quinine. The quinine adds a sharp edge to it. Really, you can't go wrong. And you don't have to shave to use this. I mean, this is, it'll soothe your skin because of the astringent properties of the witch hazel.
I love it. Great. Thank you so much for introducing me to that one.
My
That's really
pleasure.
cool. And the second one, it's a special one.
Yes.
Right? And this one also is completely essential oils?
Yes, it is.
Wonderful. And this one is called Benedictus Eau de Cologne.
Right.
And what's the story with this one, David?
This one has a very interesting story. So it's produced by a company called Excelsis. For those of you who grew up in the Catholic Church, Gloria in Excelsis Deo, glory to God in the highest. That's what the company is named after. It's based in San Rafael, California. From what I understand, the owner is a medical doctor who devoted his life to recreating certain scents using essential oils. And all of those scents were involved in some way with the Catholic Church. Benedictus means blessed in Latin, but this Benedictus refers to Pope Benedict XVI, the current Pope Emeritus. And while we were talking before going on air, I said to Stephen, oh, I just remembered something. I always carry around a relic. Pope Benedict in 2010, so October 20th, 2010, blessed this relic of St. Anthony of Padua for me.
Wow.
And I carry it around with me. This is a relic of his clothing, which I carry around with me always. And I had it here. Benedictus was created for Pope Benedict XVI. I'm not sure whether he still uses it. What I do know is that it has linden in it, which comes from Germany. Pope Benedict was born in a small town not very far away from where my family originally came from. It's called Markt am Inn in Bavaria, in southern Germany. It also is very strong.
Yeah.
Very strong.
I sensed it.
On bergamot and lavender, correct? I mean, would you say that that's right? We sprayed this twice onto this strip of paper before we started. And it's potent.
Yeah.
Now this
I can smell it from here.
Yeah, it's meant to be used as an aftershave. I don't recommend anyone putting it on raw skin. I think you should either put a layer of something else on first, or I have this on already. So take it like that. That's it. You see? Now I've layered the bergamot and linden. The linden is what really does it here. The linden brings out the bergamot and the lavender. Lavender alone, as I'm sure you know, and you all know, has a vinegary smell. In fact, in France, when you buy the essential oil of lavender, it's sold as a vinegar. It's called vinaigre de lavande. There are many people who don't know that. And when you open the canister, the aluminum canister, and you smell it, it smells exactly like vinegar. That's lavender.
Wow.
This rounds it out. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you think about this?
It does have a little bit of that barbershoppy feel about it.
Okay.
Not as much, I would say, as this one.
Correct.
Just because I would be akin to putting this on after a good shave. This one is the type of scent that it has a density about it.
Right.
And it's not as simple and linear as the last one that we're about to talk about. But I like how it's rounded out by all of these other nuances, like the lavender and the linden blossom. And it's light as far as its olfactory profile is concerned,
Right.
but it's not a light scent.
No, it isn't.
It's not a light scent.
This is not one to be taken lightly, and it's one to be applied sparingly. I typically, having used fragrance all of my life, like
Yeah.
you, tend to err on the side of over-applying. This is not a fragrance you want to over-apply,
Yeah.
because literally it'll knock your socks off. It's very strong, and it stays with you. There's also violet in here. I smell violet. There's also violet, definitely.
And you also mentioned that you had to sign a waiver
Yes.
before purchasing this?
Right.
What's that about?
When I bought it, it's very funny. When I bought it online, you had to answer questions. One of the questions was, have you ever used perfume made exclusively with essential oil? And you check yes. And then it asks whether you understand what this means, because essential oils, being the cream of the crop, being pure, I mean, this is the essence of bergamot, the essence of lavender. They tend to provoke responses in certain people. So they can
Allergic
be
responses.
allergenic.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, one of the problems with modern perfumery, for those of you who've seen the first interview, is that they have sacrificed all of the uniqueness of a certain brand in the interests of ensuring that no one is affected adversely by an allergic reaction. So they
Right.
use chemicals that they've tested over and over again to make sure that they don't create a reaction. There are some people, no doubt, who will have trouble tolerating either the strength of the essential oils in here or the smell. However, I found that with chemicals too. For example, a product, just to give you an example, had a fragrance several years ago based on iris. I sprayed it on myself at the boutique in Soho, and immediately, I mean, it was like somebody lit a match against my skin.
Wow.
And a red mark went all the way up my arm. The smell was so bad because I didn't know this. I'm sensitive to iris. I know a lot of people out there like iris. And that's totally a chemical reformulation. So I used it twice. That's it. Now I'm going to tell you that tomorrow, I'll let you know, I'll call you. I'm sure that this smell will still be on my cheek. It is the most enduring aftershave I have ever used. I never use it pure. I always layer it with something because I want to make sure that it doesn't overpower anyone that I come across. So.
And the irony here is that, like you mentioned, there's a very high volatility with citrus fruits.
Correct.
And this is so dependent on the citrus. And to add to that, it's an eau de cologne.
Correct.
And despite both of these things, it still lasts a really, really long time.
And an eau de cologne should be between 15 and 20% concentration, as opposed to an extrait de parfum, which is 25 to 30. It's an incredible fragrance. And again, this I bought.
Yeah.
So I have neither of us has any interest in this. We're talking $28, $29, 2 ounces. This is going to last me for years. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
And it's off the radar. It's distinctive. And you can say that you use the same cologne that Pope Benedict used. So
That is really cool.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good selling point.
Right.
And the last one, which the bottle you modified a little bit,
Yes.
Bergamotto di Calabria,
Yes.
and the company is?
The company is Extro. EXTRO. Extro Cosmesi in Italian. It's based in the town of Settimo Torinese, which is near Torino or Turin. The gentleman who owns the company is pictured here. He
Wow.
makes his own perfume. It is pure. I'll test it, but
Yeah.
I'm sure that I know because I use it all the time. This is pure linear bergamot. If you go into a bergamot orchard and you stand there and the fruit are hanging on the trees, this
That's what
is
you
what you
smell.
smell. Now, that being said, the second ingredient is perfume, not essential oil. Perfume equals fragrance. So we're not talking about the same level of concentration. However, you can tell that it's cloudy, and it's cloudy because of the citrus element. When you mix citrus oil with water, it clouds up.
Yeah.
That's why when you make lemonade, it's not clear. Lemonade is never clear. It's never transparent. That's because of the citrus. However, if you read the label, this has lots of chemicals in it. Limonene, right? Linalol, citrol, citronolol. All of these
Yeah.
are meant to be English translations. They're not entirely correct. However, suffice to be said, the bergamot that this is based on comes from Calabria, which is in southern Italy. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I use this often as a base. This is not a winter fragrance.
Not at all. Not
This
at all.
is definitely a summer light aftershave splash refresher. It doesn't have a lot of longevity. There is also, to my nose, which I think is fairly sophisticated, like yours,
Thank you.
there is also grapefruit and orange. However, it is a linear fragrance because all of those are citrus. So bergamot, grapefruit, and lemon, or orange. Pardon me.
Right.
Do you get the grapefruit in there?
There's a tartness about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I see
you
what you
don't
mean.
get that from bergamot, and I think that it comes from grapefruit.
Wow.
Again, I don't know, but it seems to me this is something you can apply and reapply. You don't have to worry. You can spray to your heart's content with this because it will remain on your skin. It smells nice.
It does. It really does.
And it carries this, beware, absolutely distinctive, masculine, I would say. I don't think, even though I believe that all fragrances are unisex, I even use Chanel No. 5 sometimes. This one, I think, is more on the masculine side.
Yeah,
Would
I
you
could see
agree?
that. Mhm.
Yeah. This, I think anybody can use, especially somebody who likes gin and tonics.
For sure.
And Bergamotto di Calabria. I think this was 13 or 14 euros, which is less than $20. The problem is that it's only sold in Italy. So I ordered a lot of stuff from him to save on shipping. So you can't just order one thing, and it's not available retail. You
That
have to
stinks.
get it from him.
Yeah. This to me, what it reminds me of is the bergamot equivalent of 4711,
Yes.
which has a lot of neroli.
Yes.
It's very light and ethereal.
Correct.
Makes a statement, right? And this one just has so much of that bergamot. It's so refreshing, and if I owned this, I could definitely see myself wearing it a lot in the summer.
Well, now I know what to get you for Christmas.
Thank you so much. 2019.
That's right.
I'll be ready.
4711, by the way, it's good that you mentioned that. That is the original eau de cologne.
Yep.
Made in the city of Cologne.
In Germany.
Been using it. I have been using it as long as I can remember. There was always a bottle in my house because my family is German. And the Neroli note is what gets me, because one thing we don't have here is actually my favorite citrus, which is Neroli, which is a orange blossom. That's all that Neroli is. It's a Petit Grain and Neroli. Neroli is higher grade, Petit Grain is lower grade, orange blossom. It's, to me, is the quintessential citrus fragrance for myself. Now, I said at the beginning that we're going to talk about bergamot here because it's quintessential. It is, because it's the much more common note. You don't see Neroli being used as much. You see bergamot being used in everything.
Yeah.
And ruined sometimes because of what they mix in with it. But I think you can't go wrong with any of these three to vary up your scent of the day, especially as we get into hot weather. You really can't do badly. By the way, this one works perfectly well in cold weather.
I believe it.
You don't need to use it in summer. I wouldn't use this in the winter simply because I don't think it would go unless you're layering it. This I would, because I do drink gin and tonics occasionally in the winter. I prefer Cabernet, but anyway.
Well, who doesn't, right? Exactly. But that is great, David. Thank you so much for coming over. Thank you for introducing me to these fantastic citrus scents. And now that we're in the month of June, I'm going to be wearing a lot of my citrus scents. Summer's here, and some of my favorites are like Xerjoff Neo, which I'll have you try if you haven't tried it, and Sevilla Low by L'Artisan Parfumeur, a very heavy orange blossom scent. I love my citruses, so I'm excited to possibly add some of these to my collection. I'm going to do a little bit of shopping online tonight. So thank you so much again, David. I really appreciate it.
What I would like all of you at home to do, since you were all so kind in reacting to the first interview that I did with Stephen. I loved all of your comments. I read every single one. Every single one. So thank you for them. What I'd like to ask you is tell me and tell Stephen, what's your favorite citrus note? I'd really like to know if bergamot or Neroli wins out. I have a feeling it's going to be bergamot, but I may be surprised. It may be lemon. I don't know. I'd like to know.
I would like to know as well. Yeah, so comment down below. Tell us, what is your favorite citrus scent, and what is your favorite fragrance that contains that scent?
Yeah.
So thank you again so much, ladies and gentlemen at home, for tuning in. We really do appreciate your support. Please remember to subscribe for future videos, and also enable notifications by clicking on that little bell next to the subscribe button. This way, whenever we do put out new content, it will get delivered straight to your feed, and you never need to worry about missing any future uploads.
Definitely. And for those of you who are on Instagram, I am very active in posting photographs, and not selfies. There are some selfies, but mostly artistic photographs.
Awesome.
Feel free to add me. We'll put the link down below.
It's going to be down below.
David Augustus, my first and middle name, 62, which is not my age. It is the year I was born. So
2 years before the Beatles came to America.
That exactly right. Okay.
Thanks again for watching, everybody. Links down below. We'll see you next time.
You're wonderful. We love you.
Take care, guys.
Bye.